Okay, we're continuing in Likutei Moharan Tinyana, Torah Daled. Torah Daled, Siman Daled. Paragraph Daled inside the chapter Daled. So we want this. We said in previous shiurim that Hashem can't sustain the whole world through His complete chesed without any participation and help from us, and we have to receive this chesed. If we want to receive this chesed, we have to have the right vessels for this chesed, and we have to get this chesed in the right proportions also. B'hadroga means in the right level. Because we can't accept complete chesed. If Hashem were to give His complete chesed to us, we would not be able to accept it properly. Why? We would totally we would cease to exist from Hashem's great chesed. Kind of like if you were to take a light, if you were to take a small light, or if you take let's say a laser light. I have this laser that my son plays with, and if you bring it into a dark room, you can see it very well. If you bring it into a room with a little bit of light, you can still see it. But if you bring it into a very bright room, you really can't see it anymore. Like it's very hard to. If you take it out to the sun, you shine it on the floor where the sun is shining, so you can't see it anymore. So that's like a mashal where the chesed is so great, the light that Hashem could be mashpia on us, could give us, could be so great that we would cease to exist. We would be b'tilim b'metzius. Our existence would cease. Because we can't receive so much good. This is a quote from the story of Choni Ma'agel, where Choni Ma'agel was asked to bring rain, and he davened and rain didn't come. He made a circle, and he said, "I won't step out of the circle until you bring rain." And Hashem brought rain, and at first it was I think it was small drops, and he said, "That's not the rain I was asking for. I was asking for." And Hashem brought really strong rain. It was too strong, so he said again, "That wasn't the rain I was asking for. I was asking for rain, the gentle rain, nice rain." And then Hashem brought gentle rain, and it continued raining gentle rain for such a long time that large parts or certain places in Eretz Yisrael got flooded, and at first I don't remember exactly how it stopped, but at first he didn't want to daven for this rov tova, the Gemara calls it, this extra amount of good to stop. So there we see another example of so much good being too much, that ki'in yuchom lekabel rov tov, and there they had to daven for this rain of bracha to stop. And we have to make a kli, a vessel, and a pipeline in order to receive this chesed. So here we see that we could be medayik, we could learn out from Rabbi Nachman's words here that he's saying we have to make a vessel and a pipeline. So these are two things. The pipeline is to draw down the shefa of chesed, meaning that when we have yira, then we will be able to bring chesed. Sorry, we're going to see in a second that this vessel is yira, yiras Hashem, being fear of Hashem, being in awe and respect and in fear, very simple fear of Hashem. So by having this fear of Hashem, we do two things. We enable the shefa of the chesed to come down into us, plus we enable ourselves to be a proper receptacle for this chesed. So they're two separate things. Like one is getting the money and one is being able to hold the money. Two separate things. And we make this vessel and this tzinor, we become this vessel and we make a tzinor of the shefa of chesed through yiras Hashem. Because through fear we make a carving, like a ditch, and a tzinor to receive this chesed, and a one who carves out from between his legs. This is referring to regel hu b'chinas yira. Regel, when we say someone who carves out from the legs, is referring to regel is yira, hu b'chinas yira. She b'chinas sof, which is the concept of the end. Sof davar kol nishma, at the end everything will be heard. Esa Elokim yira, and Hashem will be feared. Hainu shayidei yira shi b'chinas regel, meaning that yira, through fear, which is the concept of the feet, that through that we make the carving, the engraving, and the ditch, or the ridge that the shefa of the chesed, the light of the chesed, can go into this and can come to us through the ditch or pipe. And this is the pasuk. It says, also connected to the pasuk, it says that the staff, the stick of Aaron HaKohen, when after the machlokas, when Korach wanted to be a Kohen Gadol, so Moshe Rabbeinu was told to take the stick of Aaron HaKohen and put it into the base, into the Mishkan, and with the staffs of all the other tribes, and the staff of Aaron HaKohen sprouted. It grew flowers. It grew shkedim. It grew almonds. Hainu chesed u'bechinas Aaron. Now chesed is, as we said before, chesed is the union of Kohen, and that's Aaron HaKohen. Aaron represents that. He was representing that in that pasuk. He was representing the Kohanim. Hainu chesed bechinas Aaron tzorich lekabel idei kli. We need to receive this bechin of Aaron, the concept of Aaron and Kohen and chesed. We have to receive it through a kli, through a vessel. Shu bechinas yira, which is yira, sitra de Levi, v'zeh bechinas begvus yesher yamino. We have to receive it through the concept of Levi. The Levi is the, as we explained before, Levi is the left side, is the gvura, is the yira of Hashem. Fear of Hashem is the midah of Levi, and we have to receive the chesed of Aaron through Levi. That's why it says Aaron lebeis Levi. V'nei parach mate Aaron lebeis Levi. That the staff of Aaron, which is chesed, it sprouted, and this could be referring to the fact that the light got HaMashacha, it came down through Levi, from base Levi. Now, how do we get onto this, to Yira? We said, in order to get to Chesed, to this Chesed that will enable us to be able to sit back and to be totally enveloped in mitzvahs and not to worry about taking care of our physical sustenance at least, and our work will be done by others, and we won't need to arouse the 39 malachos of Ma'aseh Bereshis. This is done through the Chesed. So how do we get to the Chesed? We said we get to the Chesed through the Yira, through fear of Hashem. Now how do we get to fear of Hashem? That's done through Isgalas HaRatzon. V'ikar Yira nasa yedei Isgalas HaRatzon, through revealing the Ratzon of Hashem, that the ultimate power is only the Ratzon of Hashem. V'chinas Ratzon Yiriyav Yaseh. It says that the Ratzon of his feared ones, this is connected to Yira, Yaseh, will do. Shahidei Isgalas HaRatzon nasa Yira. That Yira is done, this is how he's dashing out the pasuk, that Yira is done through the Ratzon. Here we have Ratzon, which is referring to the Ratzon of Hashem. Yiriyav is referring to attaining Yira. And Yaseh is referring to the fact that Ratzon makes Yaseh brings to Yira. Hainu ayidesh isgalas haratzon ayidesh nisgale shakol misnag b'ratzon yisbarach. Meaning, what does it mean, Ratzon of Hashem? That through the Ratzon of Hashem means through revealing to oneself and possibly to others, shakol misnag b'ratzon Hashem yisbarach, that everything runs through the Ratzon, through the complete, only, absolutely desire of Hashem. Because Hashem created everything according to His will. His will, He wanted, He said, and the world was created. He was not obligated in any way. He wasn't forced by any nature. There was no nature that binds Him. He is above any type of nature, any type of obligation. And He sustains and gives life to everything, all through His ratzon, through His desire to sustain and to give life. There is no power forcing Him to do anything. There is no nature above Him. There is no constraints of nature that He exists within. And therefore He's free to do whatever He wants. Now through recognizing this, through recognizing that everything is run through Hashem, everything is run through the ratzon of Hashem, and Hashem is not bound by any nature, meaning that Hashem is ultimate and Hashem is the the underlying principle of anything that happens to us in this world, in any way, on every level. When a person wakes up in the morning and he doesn't feel well, so it's all because of Hashem. When a person goes to work and gets a raise, so it's all because of Hashem. It's not because the disease was festering in his body for 3 days before, like the doctors say, or that he was working so hard and doing so well that his boss decided that that he needs more money. His boss does not decide. Boss does not decide for a person if you're going to make money or not make money. It's completely in the hands of Hashem. Hashem could make a person have a raise even if he's not deserving, and Hashem could make a person not have a raise even if he is deserving. Hashem could make a person sick even if he isn't supposed to be sick, according to the doctors, and he can make him better even if the doctors think that he should be sick. And there is no complete obligation in nature. Nature doesn't completely obligate anything, and everything is run by Hashem. Now, really, we know that sometimes Hashem's ratzon is to go with nature, and Hashem does not want that people should be climbing out of windows and doing crazy things and saying, well, Hashem runs the world anyway. If I'm going to die, Hashem is going to take care of me. And it's part of ratzon Hashem. Hashem wants us to a certain extent recognize or to go more or less by nature, but according to the level that a person can recognize that Hashem is completely the only one that's in charge, that's how much nature, he doesn't even have to go by, even on the outside, to act as if he's going by regular rules of nature. Because Be'emes Hashem controls everything, and really if a person were to walk out a window, it is completely Hashem's decision whether a person will die or not. But like Rabbi Chaim Mendoza is, where the Maisa where he told his daughter to light vinegar when they didn't have oil, and he said that the one who says that oil should light in general, Hashem says oil should light if you have a candle and a wick and you have a lighter or a match. Nature would seem to dictate that the candle should be lit if a person tries to light it, and the same one who makes the oil light can also make vinegar light. It's no different for him. It's no difference for him. And really, that's how the whole world works. We're not zoche to see revealed miracles on a regular basis, and we have to act at least in a very, when it's very clear that a person will die by jumping off a window, or very likely that he will die. It's a mitzvah for him to be careful not to do these things, obviously. But when there are a lot of ways Hashem could bring a person money. There are a tremendous amount of ways. He doesn't need to dafka make it through his boss. Hashem could make it through other ways, and it's not a revealed miracle when a person gets money from elsewhere. And therefore, there are many things that are like this. Most things are really like this. That there are not clearly absolute things that a person must do in chiyuv of ishtadlus, which is a whole topic in and of itself. But the bottom line is that Hashem rules the world completely, and according to a person has to recognize this, and a person has to reveal it to himself and also to others. Yeah, but the simple understanding here is you have to recognize this for yourself. Now, this recognition is going to lead another thing. Once a person recognizes that Hashem is completely in charge and there is no real concept of teva, we're going to see that develops, that obligates there to be, or that allows there to be, a schar v'onesh. This creates fear of Hashem in the following way. Through this, recognizing that Hashem is completely in charge and there is no real teva, this creates schar v'onesh. This creates the ability, the person can recognize there is now schar and onesh, there's reward and punishment. And it is possible, it is appropriate to be afraid of Hashem. It's now that a person realizes that Hashem runs the world. As it says that Yaakov was very scared because maybe he sinned, and his sin caused him to maybe be in trouble from Esav. If a person doesn't believe in the ultimate power of Hashem to overrule nature, and that nature doesn't really have an existence in and of itself, and everything runs completely through the power of Hashem, through the will of Hashem, then a person will say things like scientists say, that if we could calculate all of the state of matter at any given moment, we should be able to deduce, we should be able to figure out what's going to happen next. It means, what they're trying to say, what scientists, many of them believe in their hearts, that there is a certain development of the world, and based on what the world is yesterday, if you were to take in all the place of every atom and the movement of every atom, you should be able to deduce, if you could imagine such a thing, what's going to happen next. And according to science, that would seem to be correct. The problem is that science is nature, and science is just analyzing nature, and there are things above nature, and Hashem completely is above nature, and there is no nature that dictates what Hashem wants. So that means that Hashem's Ratzon is the final word on anything. Hashem's Ratzon is the only word on anything because it's complete and it encompasses everything. So really, nature does not have an absolute existence in of itself whatsoever. And nature can't dictate anything because things can change, and especially what the Rebbe here is speaking about, freedom of choice, where a person has freedom of choice regardless of the fact that he has certain chemicals and hormones in his brain, regardless of the fact that he grew up in such and such a place, and regardless of the fact that nature, scientifically, if you were to analyze the person's all the person's hormones and chemicals that are running through his body, you would say that this person must do a certain avera at a certain time. When he's tempted, when someone brings him a very yummy cake, or when he passes a McDonald's, he has to go in because he has such a strong, overpowering desire for this type of food that he has no choice. And chemically and medically and physically, you could see such a thing in a person. If you could analyze all of his molecules down to the tiniest drop, you might deduce that it is impossible for him to overcome. But that's sheker, and that's only through looking at a person through his teva. In be'emes, a person has neshama. A person has neshama, and this neshama is above teva in every way. This neshama is chelik u'kamimal, is attached to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem gave us the ability to have freedom of choice, a very godly attribute that we're above nature. We have freedom of choice, either to do a vera or to do a mitzvah. Now that we have freedom of choice, and now that we understand that Hashem is above everything, and Hashem created the world above nature, and things do not run through nature, then we recognize that our freedom of choice. We will have to give din cheshbon on our freedom of choice. So this is what the Rebbe is saying. Through recognizing that Hashem is above teva, Hashem can create things however He wants. So Hashem created the world with us also being, in a certain sense, above teva, and we also can choose between right and wrong. And this choice between right and wrong is not natural, is not scientific. A person cannot understand this scientifically. Choice is not something understand scientifically, and neither is, according to what I understand, neither is consciousness. That's connected. Our neshama is connected to our consciousness. We already did that. However, when the ratzon of Hashem, when the will of Hashem is not revealed, when we cannot see that God is in control, and we're going to see later on, one of the ways that we do this is through miracles, is through seeing that Hashem can overpower, can go above nature. When a person believes not like that, when a person feels chas v'shalom that everything is natural, everything runs because that's how it was set up to run, that's what it was destined to run by yesterday, based on its molecules and its position and its situation and everything today is just a deduction of yesterday. It's just 1 + 1 is equal to 2. When yesterday, if I drop the ball today and I drop it at a certain height, so by the next day it's already going to hit the ground, that's already predestined. There was nobody within range of being able to come close enough to pick up the ball, so therefore the ball is for sure going to hit the ground and everything. That's the end of the story. So when a person feels like that everything is dependent on the way things were before, and there's a cause and effect, complete cause and effect, and a person doesn't have freedom of choice, then, because if you say that the world runs through cause and effect, then there's no room for freedom of choice. Therefore, there's no room. If there's no room for freedom of choice, there's no room for punishment. That's the most important thing here, is that now that we believe in freedom of choice, we believe in punishment. If people have the opposite, and they believe there is teva, and they believe that everything is running only through nature, chas v'shalom, In shaykh yura klal, there's no way to have fear of Hashem whatsoever. Why? Because there is no reward and punishment, because there is no freedom of choice, because everything is running through cause and effect, through scientific deduction. Everything could have been known yesterday, everything was already predestined, was set up, and there is no way to break that, and therefore there's no reason, it doesn't make any sense to have schar v'onesh, to have reward and punishment. That's obviously sheker, everything. He's just saying that if a person does not have yira, then a person will not have schar v'onesh, obviously. They're dependent on each other, chas v'shalom. Because everything runs through, if a person would believe this, they would believe that everything would run through nature, and everything would run through what nature dictates. Chas v'shalom. This is obviously, nature and science is incorrect in an absolute way, that things do not run based on science, and they do not, that's not the dictator. Science does not decide what's going to happen tomorrow. It's only Ratzon Hashem. Again, often Hashem does want that things should go within the derech of science. Most of the time, that it seems to be like that, and a person, according to his opinion, he has to conform to some extent to that. But comes out that the main yira. So it comes out that the main yira is through, the main way that we come to fear is through realizing and through coming to revealing that the Ratzon of Hashem is the complete and only Ratzon in the whole world, and no other Ratzon, and Teva is not the operative factor here, and therefore there is freedom of choice. Just like Hashem can do whatever He wants, Hashem let us do whatever we want. He lets us choose completely. Everything runs b'dei shamayim chutz mi'yir shamayim, and Hashem allows us to completely choose whether we're doing a mitzvah or an avera at any given moment, at all times. Rabbi Nachman says that a person at all times has freedom of choice. In every situation, even if it's something simple, a person has always freedom of choice. Is he going to remember Hashem? Is he going to think about Hashem and what he's doing? Is he going to be thinking about whether this is the right thing or the wrong thing to do? That is the freedom of choice that a person has in every situation. What exactly happens, how the outcome is, that's not his choice. He doesn't have the ability to change the actual outcome. But to try to do mitzvahs and to try to come close to Hashem, that's what a person has the choice to do. And chas v'shalom, a person also has the choice to do averos. If a person wants, he could choose, and he could feel that he could go after his heart. He can go after his yetzer hara. He can go after averos. He could run off to McDonald's, or he could run after that treif cake that he could be tempted to eat. A person has a choice in every situation. And therefore, it's shaykh schar v'onesh. So for shaykh, a person will get punished for everything, and he will get reward for everything that he does.